Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the In Alignment podcast. Today is with you again, your host, Canny. And today I have another special guest. Her name is Arianne Brûlé, and she's an amazing medium, clairvoyant, spiritual coach, and teacher. And she's been working in the field for over 20 years and more, actually, even more full-time in the last 3 years. So, Arianne, welcome. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Hi.
Yeah, hi. We're really excited to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and chat with us.
It's great. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, pleasure. We have today an interesting topic that we want to talk about. And again, within the premise of transformation, transmutation, change, and alchemy. Today, we're going to expand on the term of light worker. What is a light worker nowadays, and how maybe it has been evolving in also the spiritual community. And we're going to touch on a few things that basically come back to being a light worker and being true to your journey, and how you have the power to affect, your environment, your immediate environment, and ultimately the collective consciousness, just by doing a few things that maybe you might think they're just normal or they're nothing, but really they're really contributing more than you think they are. So let's start with you and asking about your journey thus far. How are you here doing the things that you're doing now? And you can start anywhere.
Ooh, okay. I know we have a limited time, so I'll try in short version.
Yep.
So a lot of people ask me the question, were you born, when did it start?
Yeah.
When did you start feeling, seeing, etc.? And I would say since I was a child, really, I have early memories of, apparitions, visions, feelings. I was a child, and I used to talk with my guides in the middle of the night. I used to wake up. Yeah, they used to wake me up, and then they would say, "Hey, we want to talk, we want to play," and I used to play with them. Which was really interesting. I have memories of that.
You've never been like, you were not afraid in that moment?
No.
Wow.
No, they were my friends. I got more along with them than my actual playmates.
Yeah.
I didn't relate to kids.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
like I was a little too, weird for them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was the oddball. Yeah, they couldn't kind of size me up or anything. Yeah. So it was my, it's a lonely journey at the beginning, as you know, right? And in fact, I used to play games with them. I used to tease them on the playground.
Wow.
So I used to tell them about their lives, even as children. I used to say, "You're gonna get in trouble because you did this behind your parents' back."
Yeah.
And it was my guides telling me the information.
Wow.
And they'd be like, "Oh my God," they'd be scared of me.
I bet that got you too many friends, huh?
Well, at least I gained respect.
Yeah.
After that, it's like they didn't want to beat me up after that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the way I gained the respect on the
playground.
Yeah.
On the turf.
Yeah. That was my weapon. Yeah, which wasn't, as a kid, you're not, as an adult, I don't do that anymore, obviously. Yeah. But as a kid, you use your tools, right?
Yeah, survival, however you can.
Yeah. So then, and then as a teenager, I would share things and, exchange, I would have premonitions for my friends or, but it was sporadic. It wasn't, I wanted to be normal. I wanted to fit in. Yeah. So I didn't really talk about it. And then the universe kind of knocked on my door and said, "Okay, well, now you're going to have to take this a little more seriously." And then I went through my awakening. So you're familiar with that, right?
Yeah.
So awakening.
Yeah.
And Yeah, and then it's not always pleasant.
No, no, unless you've
Yeah,
had like near-death experiences,
it's
it
not
doesn't
super
come.
pleasant,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
right?
yeah.
So often, so for people who are listening, we call it dark nights of the soul,
Mm-hmm.
and not, awakening dark night of the soul. In some cases, not everybody goes through that. I did. So that's basically, it can be in forms of depression. It could be in
Mm-hmm.
forms of, and it's often triggered by an event,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? A traumatic event, either a breakup or a loss, a death, or, it could be numerous of things.
An
For
accident.
me, accident, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Sickness,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So for me, it was with a parent,
Mm-hmm.
a detachment with the parent, and
Mm-hmm.
that was very traumatic for me. Um, and so it came in form of depression. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, and then I started seeing things, and it just came. So basically, I was in my bath, and why my bath? Because water is the best conduit
Mm-hmm.
for communication.
Yeah.
So a lot of communication are done in the sea, in a pool of water, right? In the
Mm-hmm.
pool, which I didn't know at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the best way if you want to practice. Anyone out there want to practice their intuition, do it in your pool or do it in your bath or in your shower,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So so I started getting information. So there was a light that came in my, like, literally a light that came around me. So I believe that was an angel, one of my
Mm-hmm.
spirit guides, and started giving me the info, the 911 and the 411, and said, look, you gotta start taking this seriously. This is your
Wow.
mission. Yeah, I'm in my bath and,
Just
like,
chilling,
what?
hang out, like I just want to
Like,
relax,
what?
man.
I know.
Oh
I
my
don't want,
God.
like,
Why are
this
you
stuff
bugging me
about
right
it.
now?
Yeah, you know?
Oh my
Okay.
God.
So
Oh my
they're like,
God.
you have guides, and then the light would show me the silhouette of, like, spirit guides, like animal guides,
Mm.
who's protecting me, who's on my side, like,
Wow.
here's your team, don't
Wow.
worry. Like, yeah, it was intense. Like, I haven't had anything that intense since, right? It was just mind-blowing. It doesn't happen every day, guys. It's not like that every day,
Sweet.
right?
I have to ask you, like, because the way you're talking about it, it sounds like it was just like casual, just a normal evening, having a casual conversation. Because for me, growing up, I didn't have those type of experiences. Like for me, it was
No, okay.
all fear. Like the moment I saw something, I'm like, it's Satan, you know, because
No.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I'm like, and which is weird because neither I or my brother are baptized, first of all, and because our parents wanted us to choose our own religion or to do our own thing anyways. And so it's not like we grew up Catholic or Christians, but when the moment that we came here to America or to Canada, um, it's like you get thrown into this other consciousness, and if you're not aware of it, which is most of us, it really plays on your psyche in different ways. And for me, it just started instilling a lot of fear, and I would have like, fears that weren't even mine. So the moment I would see something, hear something, I'm like, this is the devil, these are demons, this is Satan, and I would just be paralyzed to death. But that was my journey and the way that I was being awakened, I guess.
I think maybe because when they came to see me from when I was a child, and it was in a playful manner, a playful,
Mm, you were kind
platform,
of
like it was.
used
Yeah,
to it.
so I grew up with them.
Yeah, they're your buddies.
You know,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. In
yeah,
fact, they were my buddies, and I felt
yeah,
more like I was very socially awkward growing up.
yeah,
So these were my buddies.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So going back
So
to the bathtub, so you're having this
I'm
whole
in the bath,
introduction of your team, casually being
and
pulled into your mission.
yeah, right. So we're like, okay. And then I said, okay, guys, like, are you gonna to say no to them? Of course I said yes,
Yeah.
but I said, like, I want help. I want help on this side. Like, great if you're talking to me on the other side, but who's going to help me on this side? And
Yeah.
they said, don't worry, it's all planned. Just
Yeah.
follow the steps. And in the meantime, we're going to train you.
Right.
So they used to, I'd be watching TV and they'd be like, okay, time for a training session. I swear to God. And then they would tell me what to do. Like, okay,
Yeah.
light a candle, stare at the candle. Again, that's a really good exercise if you want to practice your spiritual, like, visions and that. You light a candle and then you fixate on it and you open and close your eyes. Okay? Like, 10 seconds closed, 10 seconds open. And then at some point you may see the flame start moving out of, like, in the air.
Wow.
Yes, this is a great
Wow.
exercise.
So this
Yeah.
develop is it like to develop your third eye, or to start seeing like auras maybe?
Yeah. Exactly.
Take notes,
So I
guys.
would see
Take notes.
yeah, so I would see the candle's aura,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
or and then the flames multiplied and they would dance around in the room.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So they would give me exercises and they would say, this is what you're practicing this week. And again, I said, look, this is all good and well, and thank you, but I want to interact with humans as well. You know?
Yeah. I am human after all.
Yeah, and then they said, no worries, we're working on that. And then one of my friends, Angel, right, introduced me to a place she heard of. It was a spiritual center.
Yeah.
And she said to me, look, if if you don't feel comfortable, if you think this is, weird, like, or culty, like, we're getting out of here. Don't worry, we'll have a sign and we get out of here. And then, so I sit there, not half an hour. I was bawling my eyes out and I said to her, I'm home. I'm home. Oh. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I said, this is it. These are my people.
These are my people. I know.
Yeah,
They're like, they're humans too. Oh my God.
Yeah. Right? They're speaking my language. Yeah. So I trained there basically.
Okay. And you trained as?
You know what? When you go to these spiritual centers, it's not to become a medium. It's to just develop yourself and work on yourself. Like yoga, And it so happens that some people come out of it mediums. Yeah. But it's not medium school. It's intuition school.
Yeah. It's the way that I guess you're working with the energies is kind of consequential, I guess, that you will develop that skill.
And some people will come out, they're healers. They'll figure out, it's basically to figure out where you are, who you are. Yeah. And then you go to the next step. Yeah.
So do you want to touch on the difference between a medium and a clairvoyant?
Yes, I'm asked that a lot. It's a good question, actually, because there is a nuance. So medium is a channeler. So it's a medium between, a go-between, between spirit, be it guides, angels, family members, and me. So I'm a translator. I'm just a conduit.
Right.
They use me.
You're the middleman.
I'm the translator.
Yeah.
So I tell people, sometimes it's not clear because I don't know what I'm saying.
Right.
Because the message is for the person. It's not for me.
Yeah.
So if I say green apples, it means nothing to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't forget the green apples. Okay. Yeah. And then the person will say, yeah, well, my grandfather had an orchard. There it is. Okay. So it's kind of like which is really fun. It's really, but I have to say things as I see them, word for word.
And not judge them and
No. Yeah. And not trying to analyze it. Because when I try and analyze it, it doesn't come out right.
Yeah.
So I've learned that with time. Just say as is, Yeah. So that's a medium. And then a psychic, clairvoyant, there's nuances between that, but it basically means that you have a sense of, so clairvoyant, and then there's clairvoyant, clairsentient,
Yeah.
clairaudient. So these are all the what you can, how you can perceive things.
Right.
So you could hear spirit, you can smell spirit, which I've learned as well.
Yeah.
You can, or, yes, you can, hear them, feel them, smell them, etc. It's like all your senses
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
are used.
Yeah.
And then a psychic, that you can, and I'm not going to say, because you don't tell the future, right? So I want to be clear on that. You're not telling the future. You're looking. You see probabilities.
The highest probabilities.
The highest probabilities.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell my clients, my students, etc., I'm not giving you like, this is the truth and this is what's going to happen. No,
Yeah.
never.
Yeah.
I see probabilities,
Mm-hmm.
where your energy is the strongest, where
Right.
you're putting all your energy.
Right.
Okay, so if you don't like what I'm saying or where I'm going with this, your messages, then you can change it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm really, happy to say that to people. Like, you have your power. It's your power. It's what you're generating that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it's all things that I guess I've been doing, but without really knowing that I'm doing that within that category. And for me as well, the one thing that I started doing, though, when I see the highest probabilities and it's something that might be, painful to someone or something that I wouldn't wish onto someone, what I started doing a few years ago is I started speaking to that energy and speaking to it and then changing it for the person, without necessarily saying, hey, it will look this way or you will do this, but more so like, hey, just with ease and light and sending love. And it's like, okay, well, I want the best thing for you. And if this is the choice that you've made, that's great. But I wish for you to have like more support, or to make it easier on yourself, to make it less painful for yourself. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, it's a weird thing. It's like really cool. But then it's almost like, sometimes I talk with people and maybe like jokingly, they might be like, oh, you don't trust me? It's like, oh my God, I trust you more than anything, because I have no doubts about spirits, So if I don't doubt spirits, then it's like, there's no space for me to doubt you as a human being, because I know you'll end up wherever you need to end up anyways. It doesn't have to look the way that I want it to, but you will end up where you're supposed to end up, and it will be beautiful,
Good point. Yes.
Yeah.
Very beautifully said.
So back to now you're being trained into this spiritual community or this spiritual center. Then what came up to you?
So then I started, because in my case, again, everybody hones differently and for different reasons, but I felt that I had a potential to be a really good clairvoyant medium. Like, I felt, well, that was my calling, let's say. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was strong. So what I did at first was just to ask friends, family members to suggest people. Like, I wanted to meet people I didn't know, because I was practicing this amongst my classmates. But now at this point, you know them a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted strangers.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're really going to test your ability.
Yeah. And gain trust. Yeah.
So I would ask random people, and of course people volunteer for this. Yeah. Me, it's fun.
Free healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I did for a couple of years. I just practiced. And like anything else, you have to practice.
Yeah.
It's just go again and again and again. And I realized, because you have to feel your body, what's going on, and then you have to compare. Because I asked them, tell me what happened, tell me what didn't happen. Like, I had to know, like, a bit where I was in that sense. And I would go to people's houses back then. Now people come to my house, but or on Zoom. you know. But back then I used to go to, because I was insecure about my abilities, and I didn't want people to, and again, this is something I worked on personally.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want people to, uh, you know, come to my house, or I wanted to be as accessible and easy for them. So that was
Yeah.
about me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And confidence, you
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
I got kicked out twice.
What?
Yeah,
For
I
what?
got kicked out
How?
twice. True story. You know, when you're starting out, there's always these stories, right?
Wow. Wow.
Yes. So the first time, um, I wasn't telling her what she wanted to know. Actually,
Um,
both times,
yeah.
they did not like what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And one thing I want to explain is when a medium is in the zone, I call it, because there's
Mm-hmm.
preparation before we do
Yeah.
this, right?
Yeah.
And if you interrupt or touch or push or, you
Mm.
know, agitate a medium in that space,
Yeah.
it's not dangerous, but it's painful.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like waking someone up in the middle of the night,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I found out the hard way because, you know, she's like, well, get out and, you know, pack your stuff. And, you know, yeah. And it was very
Oh my
painful
God.
and disoriented. And I didn't know what to do. Like, you know,
You're just trying to gather yourself and come back to your human body. You're like,
right?
what is
Exactly.
happening?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
So, and in both cases, it's because I wasn't telling them what they wanted to hear. It
Yeah.
was the contrary of what they thought, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I don't invent anything. I don't sugarcoat, but I'm respectful.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
always tell people I am direct, but I'm not, I'm very respectful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I say, don't ask what you don't want to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a big one. That's a big one. Yeah.
Don't ask what you don't want to know.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. I know, like, I've had not extreme moments like that, but some moments with some people, either friends or more like acquaintances, where I would say things and I would be like, but listen, it doesn't mean that it's like it doesn't mean like this is the only way that it's gonna happen. I'm just saying, like, if you stay in this energy and in the way that everything is happening for you right now, this is where you're going. So me telling you this is for you to take this and take a look at what you're doing right now, and then decide for yourself, because you can always decide. You always have a choice. Like, it's not it's not in what's that word, what's that saying, something about now I have it in French because probably you speak French and
Say
now
it in
my French
French.
brain is activated. C'est pas couler dans le béton.
Wait, it's not in cement. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what she
Yeah.
said. And
Yeah. It's
so
not. Yeah.
yeah, and so then yeah, and it's like, just take what I'm saying as, it's to gain clarity, really, and then decide what you want to do with it. you know I'm just a
Exactly.
messenger.
I'm just exactly. Don't shoot the messenger,
I
which
know.
it happened a couple times. Oh, yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
that was my early days, and I
Mhm.
had to live and learn, and I
Yeah.
had to, now I have a lot more confidence in what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and and that also shows. I think they felt like they could kind of kick me out. I
Yeah.
don't think they would have done that with me today,
No. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because but it is what it is, and it's
Mhm.
learning experiences. And
Yeah.
now what I do also is I filter people. And you know what, Kenny? I had a
Mm.
bad feeling for both because I do,
Really?
yes.
Ah.
And I speak to people now on the phone. Like I rarely just take. I do it sometimes, but I try and talk to the phone before I meet them
Mhm. Mhm.
because I do a little filter,
Yeah,
right?
the energy, you sense the energy, like, do I
hmm
want to do
Yeah.
this?
Or are they ready? It's not so much
Yeah.
do I want, it's are they ready?
Yeah.
And I don't want to scare anybody. I don't want to waste anybody's time.
Yeah.
So I kind of like introduce myself on the phone
Mhm.
and then let them decide. Yeah.
So in both cases, since you felt the energy was not there, what made you, and being as connected as you are, what made you say, you know what, let me just go and still do it?
Because back then I didn't have the confidence to say no. Right.
Yeah.
And I, once it was set, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't have the confidence or the foresight to say no, and I had to go against myself to see that
To
that's
see it.
not,
Yeah.
it's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that, because in my past too, it's like you don't know how to say no, but then you kind of, well, for myself anyways, I would mask it as, well, I'm just going to go with the flow. It's like, yeah,
Right.
the flow right now is telling you no. So what are you saying?
Right.
Where is this flow you're talking about, And it's so interesting, like how our ego, or like this other aspect of ours, will tell you things, and it's like it will use the things that you're saying or that you are against you, and it's like,
Absolutely.
yeah, I'll go with the flow.
Absolutely. Like you don't want to disappoint anyone, as I'm sure you're the same, and you want to be polite, and you know exactly, or you want to be like above it, and you say, no, it's all good, I'll be fine, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's not. But I thank the spirit for those experiences. I think I had to do it though.
Yeah.
It was unpleasant, and it was, but it had to be done so I could build up my confidence as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. And clarify how you want to receive and give energy as well.
And give energy, because I want it to be positive for both parties, obviously. Yeah.
Wow. So then how did you evolve from that whole thing? Like, how are you now being the person that you are?
So I collected, I experienced over the years, and trust me, when one wants and then the other and the other, I mean, it grew. But again, it was just for fun. It was, and people paying me, like, I didn't want, although people, I'll tell you something, people do not like paying you. They don't like they don't feel comfortable in that. And I've also discovered that, because I kept on saying, no, but I'm practicing, I don't want anything, and they didn't, no one feels comfortable with that, because they want to thank you in a way, right? They want for your time, right?
Definitely.
So I had to also learn how to accept
receive
that. Receive, and so that was a whole learning, curve for me, still is, to be honest. So then I decided, so okay, then I had a day job, right? Like a 9-to-5 corporate day job.
Yeah.
And then I got a similar calling. So remember back then in the bath, and you got grizzly now, and all
the casual bath.
And it was similar in the sense, okay, now, we trained you. Yeah. Because it's over a long period. There's quite a few years now. Now we trained you. Now you got to get to work. Like, seriously. Like,
next phase.
Next phase. Next level. Right? Yeah. And there are a million other levels. So I'm aware of that. But next phase, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's endless. So, and so they were like kind of hinting for me to leave the day job, and they gave me a date. They gave me a month. And it was exactly a year before COVID, day for day.
Of course it was.
Day for day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I left March 12th.
Wow.
2019. Yeah.
Wow.
So I felt something was brewing. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I didn't know what it was, but a lot of the community, as you know, we felt a brewing. Something was, in the air. And we knew that we were being trained for it. We just didn't know exactly what it was. Yeah. So they kind of said, okay, we'll set up for a year, because you're going to need, you're going to need to be set up, Little did I know. okay, you know, like I
Yeah.
thought I'm just gonna do my little thing. It's gonna be fun, 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 you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh my
And
God.
then boom, for like everybody else. Like I lived, and I was on a roll like a lot of people. I was starting a new
Mm-hmm.
business, you know, it was fun. It was, you know, and then boom, and then, you know, home, you know, and stuff. So you had to reinvent yourself again.
Yeah.
And so right in 2019, during the year I was, you know, before COVID, I had started a meditation group,
Hmm.
in person. In a, I had rented a place,
Mm-hmm.
so I was building that. And I think those are the key people that were going to help during COVID. We're all going to
Mm.
help each other.
Yeah.
But little did we know it would be on Zoom, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
And I'll
God.
tell you, during COVID, when the first few weeks, like everyone else, the way I, you know, I'll speak for myself,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just caved into myself and stopped. Like I was immobile, like I didn't move for like a couple
Mm.
weeks, right? And then my students were texting me like, well, we need you. Like, where are you?
What's
Yeah.
up? What are you doing?
Yeah. Like, this is when we would need your
Yeah.
help here. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And they kicked me in the butt. They're the
Wow.
ones who said, well, you know, um, what's next? You know, we can
Mm-hmm.
do this on Zoom. And so there was a whole getting used to that, as you probably went through that
Mm.
phase as
Yeah.
well, getting used to, you know, and
Yeah.
could I do this on Zoom? Could I
Mm.
give readings? So a lot of people ask me, how is it as intense on Zoom as it is in person?
Yeah.
And I love in person. I'll
Yeah.
always choose it before
Don't
Zoom.
we all?
However, right?
Yeah.
However, it works. It does work, to be
Yeah.
completely honest.
Yeah. It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had similar
And
resistance
so, yeah.
with my practice too, because I was like,
Yes.
well, I don't know how hypnotherapy works online. I don't think it will work. My God,
Mm,
it works amazing.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And why? Because we're all connected, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, so yeah, but there's an adjustment period, which I'm sure you had too,
Mm-hmm.
um, and so I, and then so we did the classes, and all that period when we were during lockdown, it was a, a lifesaver, honestly, for
Mm.
me as much as for them, because it was an activity. Oh wow, I have something to do today, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You have something that you can look forward to, you know?
Yeah,
Since you
right.
can't go out, you're like, okay, I guess I'm gonna shower today, this morning, get my hair
Right.
done.
You know. So,
Yeah.
and we did parties and stuff. And anyways, we
Oh,
try to make it, yeah, we did like a Halloween party, and, you know, we did
amazing,
different things.
amazing. Yeah.
But we also helped each other develop. We were like
Yeah.
behind the scenes, this little group. We're all working through our, uh, you know, ups and downs at the time, and our, you know, through meditation and going
Mm,
deep. And, you know, a few people were awakening during this time, and there were
mm,
tragedies, of course, as you know.
yeah.
And so we were kind of a support group as well.
I think
Yeah.
this makes a really good segue into defining what a light worker is,
Mm.
because I feel like sometimes, we underestimate what the power of a group can accomplish. And sometimes if we want to get a group together, we want to have, like, you're thinking about, okay, I need to have like 1,000 people. But it's like, if you even have a group of 2 people, that is already, the energy is already magnified. So let's talk about what's a light worker. What did this, or how did the general spiritual community, how did we used to define it, and how maybe now those things have changed?
So a light worker at the time, and again, it's a malleable, kind of flexible word, and
Yeah.
it's always in transition like everything else.
Yeah.
But what I've realized in the past 2 years is that that definition has changed a little bit. So originally, the kind of definition of a light worker was that you a medium or an energy healer, and you had crystals, and you followed the cycles of the moon, and
It was
you
all
know, like
metaphysical.
metaphysical,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
then you were a light worker,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I noticed in the past couple of years, and is that no, because I've understood that a small group of people with like a good heart, and good people
Mm-hmm.
and like-minded intentions
Mm-hmm.
are like, you said it so beautifully, so I'm not going to say it as beautifully as you did, but um, that one person can make a difference just
Mm-hmm.
by having good intentions. So
Yeah.
forget the crystals, forget all that. Just by being kind to your neighbor,
Yeah.
just by um, doing an extra mile for, let's say, your employer or colleagues or whatever, right? Just doing
Yeah.
that extra little thing, that sends waves, energetic waves. All right. So you think that one person is appreciating it, but
Mm-hmm.
no, it's the energy you put around in your workplace or whatever.
Yeah.
And it is like addictive. So you're kind to one person, the person's going to be kind to another. And then it just,
It's a ripple
snowballs, right?
effect. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so when you're in a group of meditation, because a lot of people don't, in my group, don't consider themselves, let's say, light workers, but
Mm-hmm.
they've understood that I consider them light workers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they bring in such joy in the space
Yeah.
that, so I believe that just being a good person, uh doing your best, and when I say good person, you're not perfect, okay?
Yeah.
That's not what I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean genuinely good intentions for yourself, for your family, for the planet, and someone that's just basically working on themselves,
Mm.
you know, looking inside themselves.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of times people say, I don't like really meditating. Meditation is not for me. But that definition has changed as well,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that. Like, meditating means you're not thinking of your daily life. You
Yeah.
are unplugging from your daily life. So meditation could be walking, singing, dancing,
Mm-hmm.
painting. All right, so that definition changed as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say, well, I do a lot of hiking. That's meditation. That's
Yeah.
your meditation.
Yeah.
So people are relieved to know that you don't have to be in a box,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
in regards to spirituality,
Yeah.
right? So,
Mm.
yeah.
I think something that just came, like as you were speaking, I was tapping into that energy, and something came to me, and it's I think it was like last week. I I feel like I had a micro awakening, like another micro awakening, because I did, and I recorded a podcast. I'm not too sure when it's going to come out, but I did this thing. It's a 1 year or once a year celebration that the only guru that I really listened to, his name is Sadhguru. I don't know if you know him. Oh my God, he's amazing.
Mm.
He created these yearly ceremonies where, because of how the planet is tilted, I guess, once a year in respect to the solar system, there's something that happens to the planets where the energy really surges from its basis, and then it goes up into the cosmos. And so he says that this is an amazing opportunity for people who are really spiritual for their spiritual growth. But even if you don't consider yourself as a spiritual person, it's just an amazing opportunity for you to receive like healing, but also to just kind of allow that energy to flow from the ground and then up into the cosmos. And so for that reason, you're supposed to stay up for 12 hours, with your spine erect. Like you can't be staying up and then lying down in bed, right? Your spine has also to be vertical to allow that energy to flow freely. And there's like all sorts of preparation that you have to do. And my friend sent it to me, and unfortunately I wasn't able to do the preparation, but I still assisted in the ceremony because I was like, you know what, let me just check it out and just take advantage of this energy, see where it goes. And so I tuned in. And so throughout the evening, throughout the 12 hours, he has a series of meditations and chanting. And then he invites guests to kind of, perform and keep the people awake, right? So the inaugurative meditation, just like within 30 seconds in, I think I connected with Shiva. And I've never connected with Shiva because he serves Shiva, or he works through Shiva with Shiva energy. And my reflex when he came to me, I was like, oh, am I supposed to be here? Like, I'm sorry, I didn't do all the prep and da 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 da. Am I being disrespectful? And his energy just came to me and he was like, no, Kenny, I'm so happy to see you. Like, I'm so happy that you're here, that you're dancing with me. Come and dance with me, smile with me. Like, let's have fun. Let's dance. And I'm like, there's no music. We're meditating. Like, what do you want us to dance to? And it was just like this whole divine, like, dance of energy basically that was happening between him and I. And he could see some of the things that were happening in the forefront of my psyche. And he basically tweaked them. It wasn't anything, dramatic as like a very, I don't know. It was like more subtle. It was really more subtle. And he's like, okay, let me take this away from you, and let me take that away from you. Oh, let's rewrite this for you. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. That feels nice,
Wow.
And so I slept at 6 a.m. And this was the first time that I actually got some rest in the past like 3-4 months. But what happened after that, I went to the grocery store later that afternoon, and I had to walk through, here in BC, in Vancouver, there's a street called East Hastings, and this is where a lot of people with addictions kind of live. And some of the people who are homeless, they all basically live on this stretch of East Hastings. And sometimes I used to walk through there and be like, oh, I'm sending you light and I'm sending you love, and good luck on your journey. But in that moment, that specific day, and ever since, I felt so grateful to them, because it felt like, I don't know, suddenly I saw something that I hadn't seen. And it was talking about light workers. You as a soul have decided to come here upon earth and take on all this pain in this body and try to transmute it. Unfortunately, because of circumstances or how this human experience is structured thus far, we still have a lot of work to do. You're unable to transmute that energy, and then now you're basically in this state. And just as a human being watching another human being, like, it's really easy to be judging and be like, yeah, but you could have done this and this and that and this and that. Like, why are you a junkie? Why are you on the street? Like, you have so many opportunities, whatever it is. But to me, in that moment, I felt like, my God, like, that is not easy. That is not, nobody is going to choose to, oh yeah, I see that there's a war, let me just go there and help them and let me suffer for these people. Nobody's going to really do that, or not many people will do that.
Not many.
And so in that moment, to me, it felt like they are light workers, and so many of us are light workers in so many different ways that sometimes we don't realize. And I was like, tearing up, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for you for being here, for taking on that pain, and da, da, da. And then I was just trying to elevate the energy and bringing them into that space that I was seeing, and just seeing them as the divine. And I was doing the same thing that Shiva did with me. I was like, okay, come guys, let's just dance, let's ease this pain a little bit, let's just have fun together. And I could just see the energy kind of rising, and it was just so beautiful. I'm like, whoa, what is happening here,
Wow,
So,
that is beautiful. But you made a good point. Like, and that's what I recommend people to do, is when you're walking in the street, even when it's not easy, or if you're driving and someone cuts you off, we have a joke with my colleagues, and we're like, love and light, love and light. Because your first reaction is not love and light. Okay?
It's to run them over.
Right?
Yeah.
But after that,
yeah.
love and light,
Yeah. Love and light, love and light.
Love and light. That's what I say, if someone hurts me or upsets me or whatever, love and light, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at first it's kind of fake, yes.
Yeah.
But then you say it more like 5, 6 times, you start
Yeah.
feeling it. You
Yeah.
start feeling it,
Like
right?
just breathe through it, and yeah, you
Breathe
start
through it,
getting
breathe through
into
your
the
heart,
energy.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is where how you're sending the energy is through the heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very important to feel your heart, touch your heart, put your hands on your
Mm-hmm.
heart, in contemplation, you know.
Yeah.
And but what you said about it was beautiful. Like I saw you on the street with all these people, and I just the image, it was
Yeah.
beautiful, and I could see you
Yeah.
shining your light from your
Yeah.
heart
It's
and
so nice.
spreading the love.
I know.
And you know what? I am sure they received it. This is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah.
They received it,
Yeah.
whether it wasn't verbal, they'll never know, but they did receive
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I mean. When you walk, I often do that when I walk in a public space. I'll send love to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, not every day, and I'm not always in that space,
Yeah.
um, but when I do feel it, I wanna go hug. Don't you wanna go hug everybody
Yeah.
some days?
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes you're like, just come here, just come here. I got you.
yeah, right? Like I don't know you, but I want to hug you, you know?
Yeah.
Some days are like that because you're so filled with love,
Yeah.
and and you're that's when you're centered, which is not every day. I wish,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, but so I read the study, and they say that a group of like 10 people meditating,
Mm-hmm.
or sending intentions, because at the end of my group we send intentions, healing intentions to the world, okay? And then
Mm.
or parent or pets, or neighbor, whatever, whoever you want to put in that space, we
Yeah.
send light to. And they say you can reach up to 90,000 people just with 10 people in a
Wow.
group.
That
Yeah,
makes sense. Like every person holds literally a whole universe, and you have,
absolutely.
10 people gathered, and that's like, yeah, a micro universe, a
It,
microverse,
it, it,
something like that.
yes, it's a micro, yeah,
Right?
microverse.
Right?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
all are microverses, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm really like I didn't know this fact. I was doing it because that's what we like doing, and
Mm-hmm.
but the more as time went on, I realized that this intention does hit so many people,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and it's pure love. That's all it is. It's just love.
Yeah.
So it does, and I told people because during what's going on and everything, even within the group, there were different views and different points, and I said, guys, we don't, and it's not a political platform. I try
Mm-hmm.
and make it, but once in a while, opinions come out, and
Yeah, for
it
sure.
is what it is.
Yeah.
But I said, but okay, do we not have all in common that we all want peace? You
Mm.
know, and yes, all people agree.
Yeah.
In the end of the day, that's what I'm sending. You don't have to have a political view. You don't have to have a stance on anything. You're just
Mm-hmm.
sending love,
Yeah.
right? And whatever's going to happen in that space is going to happen, right? It's going to
Mm-hmm.
mutate the way it's supposed to, and that's
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
And I I do believe in prayer. I believe in meditation, whatever that
Yes.
looks like for whoever. And I've had people say, because I tell people I'll put you in, oh, my daughter's in the hospital, or whatever.
Mm.
I have clients who tell me stories, and so I quietly just put them in the
In your
center of things,
prayers. Yeah.
and then miracles happen,
Yeah,
right?
they do.
Canny,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
witnessed a lot of miracles,
Yeah.
you know.
Because you're being a channel
So
to that energy, to that frequency.
right,
And, especially
right,
when the person is open, then, miracles can really happen for them as well.
right.
Yeah.
So when you're in that space, anything, I don't, there's not much that is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
You you know,
Yeah.
we put limits, and I'm not saying that, I mean, I put limits on myself. I mean, who we are here on planet Earth, the human beings, we are the masters of limitation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're the masters of dealing with limitations, sickness,
Yeah.
ego, and everything else that goes with it, right? And we have to compose and navigate through that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hence why we get really creative, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like you're feeling this body that is, you know, really limited, and you're also sensing and feeling, you know, your unlimited, your limitless potential. And it's like, whoa, well, how do I bring that into my being? Like, how do I reconcile that duality, you know? So you get really creative at finding things, and you can either create more pain and suffering, or you can really liberate and free yourself from all those perceived limitations, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's quite a challenge. And um, so that is what the group is about, and why my colleague and I founded it. It was just to
Mm,
really learn tools, give tools for
yeah.
people, daily tools, or
Yeah.
to be there. You know, because some people don't like meditating by themselves.
Yeah.
They need guidance. So
Yeah.
they hook on Zoom, and then it's kind of their space, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but it was really to give people a space, a safe space to, you know, exchange tools. Because, you know, I learn as much as I teach,
Yeah.
you know, right?
Yeah. It's a two-way street.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So on this topic, I think the other thing that feels like I wanted to mention is like, again, you know, being a light worker can look very differently. But if I can encourage anybody who's listening to, maybe even when you're in a state of, let's say you're watering your plants, and you know, you're really having fun, you're connecting with, you know, your plants and the joy that they bring you, to just also take a moment and be like, hey, I thank the divine for this joy that I'm feeling, and you know, I reciprocate it into the universe, into the cosmos, into the collective consciousness for anybody else who might need it at this time, you know? And that is, for me, the way that I see it is like, you know, you're acknowledging the divine, hence you're pulling in the divine more and closer to you, but you're also feeding the divine, you know, so it can also grow and it can be even more accessible to other people. So it's
I
just
get
being
it.
more like aware and conscious about the things that we do, you know?
But you mentioned something key that we
Mm,
haven't talked about yet, and that's gratitude.
yeah. Yes.
That
My
moves
God. Yes.
mountains, my friend.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
And I have a little exercise in the morning. I don't know if you do something similar, but before I even step down my feet, because once you step, you know, in the morning, once
Mm-hmm.
you put your foot on the ground, you're already back to reality, right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
went in the other realms, you know, in your dreams and all that. So you want to do it maybe right before you put your foot down and you're back to life, you know,
Yeah.
3D as I call it.
Yeah.
And and you just 5 things you're grateful for,
Mm,
and then put an intention for your day.
yeah.
So it's a quick exercise, you know, and if you can't think of anything, you could just go as basic as I'm grateful for my bed, I'm grateful for
Yeah.
my pillow, I'm grateful for my sleep. Like you don't have to go too far,
Yeah.
you know.
Doesn't have to
Um,
be that deep.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you just bring in that positivity,
Sense.
right? And
Yeah.
then you exactly, and then you
Yeah.
put intention. And even if you don't believe it, just say, I'm gonna have a super great day.
Yeah.
Even if you have like challenges up ahead and you know it, and you
Yeah.
have to confront that colleague or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
just put that intention. You never know how things can work out.
I remember when I was still in the corporate world, at some point, you know, it was really getting heavy because I wasn't listening, you know. I was supposed to get out and I was taking all my sweet time.
I hear
And
that.
so, yeah, things started really getting heavy for me. But at the same time, because, you know, I would meditate every morning, and I would decide on how my day would go. And for me, like, maybe it is a blessing in a way, because to me, the way that my mind works, it's like, if I say something, it doesn't matter if it takes me 2 days, 5 years, it will happen. And so nobody's going to come and tell me the other way, you know, otherwise. And so if I would say, oh, today I'm going to have a super great day, it's going to be amazing. And I come into the office, and maybe like the first thing that I get is like this colleague that is wanting to complain about their day and just like dumping all that energy. And I'm like, yeah, but today I said that I was going to have a good day. You know, I don't know what you're going through. I guess I'll listen. But today I have decided that I'm having a great day, so this energy will not affect me, you know? It's like,
Excellent.
yeah, I'm just going to be a channel to this. But at the end of the day, we all know that I'm having a great day today, right, guys? We all know it.
So we agree. This is.
Yeah.
Did everybody get the memo?
Yeah. It's not even a matter of doubting, like, oh no, today I said I was gonna have a great day and these things are no. That's not how it happened. Not for me. I'm like, not today, Satan.
But that is the challenge, and I love that. I love that you said that, because it is a choice.
Yeah. And it's a reminder. And the more that you do it, the more these energies don't come to you, you know?
Right.
And I think sometimes we have intentions and we just kind of hope that, you know, we're going to stay in La La Land, but your work is really when you're not in La La Land, you know? It's not
Agreed.
like you're sending all these intentions and then you're like, okay, today I don't have to do anything and it's just going to be a marvelous day. No.
No.
Like, you have to remind yourself when you're not having a marvelous day and when you're feeling like you want to strangle someone, or you want to run someone over, and it's like, oh, no, today I'm love. I decided I'm going to be all love, all light. This person will not affect me. This is not my energy. This goes back to you. I am well where I am. You know, you have to be protective of your energy and your intention, you know?
100%. And and that's another good point. Before you get out of the door, so now you've done your, your gratitudes, you've sent your intention, but also you want to protect your energy, right? So make that a conscious decision. So which you suggested, and it's true, and you have to remind yourself all day, every day.
Right?
Yeah. It's not like one time or
no.
You know.
Yeah.
And then, because a lot of people have misconceptions, and I'm glad that you're bringing that up, that once you go into spirituality, that everything's going to be la roses, and unicorns.
Yeah.
And it's not.
There are many of them, many unicorns and many rainbows, but I mean, you also have to deal with the goblin behind you, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, it gives you tools to deal with the goblins.
Exactly.
Because they're always going to be there, right?
Yeah.
So, and you can see a unicorn here and there. So that's cool too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God. So is there anything that we haven't touched on or that I forgot to mention? So we talked about Lightworker, what that looks like, your journey, and how one person can also change like the energy just, with great intentions and doing something that is as simple as watering your plants and just bringing the divine into your experience, and then bringing that energy back into the cosmos. Is there anything else
I just want to say and remind people that, every experience, everything is your perception of things. So it's a reflection of where you're coming from. So if you see a lot of negativity around you, this is a part of you. This is, universe is, reflecting back at you something. And also when you're feeling happy and you have good relationships, that's reflecting. But we are not one thing. We are duality. We are, contradiction. It's not because you go into meditation and spiritualism that dualities will stop. We live in a dual world. This is what we signed up for. And yes, as you will contradict yourself. And yes, you will say one thing and then do another. And so I want people to know that you're not going on this journey to be perfect, because you're not going to achieve perfection. Okay. You want to achieve more balance in this chaotic world, in this dualistic world. That's the whole point. And to find ways to calm yourself, to master yourself. So a lot of people ask me, like, you know, but I have a lot of negative thoughts, and, you know, is that, am I going to hell, or, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
no, you're not, because you always will have negative
Yes, you
thoughts.
are. Just kidding.
Right? You know, and you're always
Yeah.
gonna, like, somehow, somewhere, your ego's gonna judge, and,
Yeah.
you know, and all this. But the difference is, as a spiritual person, you check yourself. That's
Yeah.
all. You just check with love and compassion, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, like, for me, you know, this whole sense of perfectionism, I think on my journey, for me, what feels right or what has felt right is that I do find myself perfect, actually, but not perfect in the sense of, you know, I have to look this way and I have to talk this way. No, I just feel like everything that is me is perfect the way that it is. And the same thing for everybody, like everybody else is perfect. I see people through the lens of perfection. And then anything else is like, what do you want to do about your life? You know, if you find yourself not being perfect, it's like the way that you talk to yourself. You know, I always tell people, like, see the words that you're saying out loud. If you're receiving them, like, do they feel good to you? Do they feel like it's something that helps you move forward? If saying, oh, I am perfect, is bringing more resistance into your being, then don't say that you're perfect just for the sake of saying that you're perfect. If saying that, you know, you feel imperfect, and that's fine, and that just, like, the way that you say it just brings like more ease into your psyche, into your being, then yes, because that's the thing that is going to help you move forward with all the complexity of your being. You know, that's how you have to talk to yourself or to your being to help you move forward with more ease, you know. And and yeah, because it really has to ring truth, because again, anything, I realized that anything that you have attached your identity to, or the way that you perceive yourself, you know, it's very neutral in the sense that it's accessible to your higher self, but it's also accessible to your ego. So if you don't
Absolutely.
check yourself and you say, oh, I'm perfect, but then, you know, in your reality, things start to kind of crumble, or things start looking a certain way, it's like, well, where is this coming from? You know, if you're saying this,
That's a
like,
good
where is
point.
that coming from? You
Be
know?
careful what you're saying, because you
Yeah.
will be tested on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Are you
So,
sure you think
oh,
you're perfect? Because we think you're perfect.
you
The
say
universe
you're
gonna say,
perfect.
yeah, okay, let me test you on.
Yeah.
But the universe loves you unconditionally,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't
Yeah.
necessarily, even
Yeah.
though
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
say
Because it's
it, for
not coming
sure.
from your heart, right? And then the next day,
No, it's coming from the
someone tells
ego,
you, like,
right?
oh yeah, I don't like the way your ears are, and you're like,
And
oh
then
my god,
suddenly,
self-consciousness.
oh,
You're like, oh, my ears, do I need surgery? Do I need
oh,
to do this? I thought you
right?
said that you were perfect.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's a good
Right.
example. That
Right.
is it. Because someone could shut that down
Oh my
in
god.
one sentence,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's such a funny journey, man. Being human is, I don't know. Nowadays, I find it so hilarious, but
it is. You have to laugh at it. That's
yeah.
what I like about you,
Yeah.
Kenny. Is
Yeah.
that
It's like, what else can you do? Seriously. But I think I really liked what you said about, you know, being able to check yourself, because yeah, as someone who is conscious, or who is aware, I don't know that you get to a point where you never have to deal with, you know, the nonsense or the noise per se. But if you practice enough of, you know, maybe creating a distance between your identity and yourself or your body, then you're able to kind of transmute these things a bit easier. But it doesn't mean that it won't affect you necessarily, or you
some
won't.
days will be easier than others.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just the way that you recover. It's just a moment. It's not, it doesn't become part of your story. It doesn't become a part of your identity. It doesn't become like a whole dramatic thing that is going to repeat itself like over and over again. And if it does, it never has the same momentum. You know, it might come back in a little way, like, you know, that one chocolate you ate when you weren't supposed to eat it, and now you have a stomach ache, and you're like, I know exactly where this is coming from, you know?
Right?
But it's not
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this whole whirlwind of emotions, of struggles and pain and resistance and adversity. And you're like, when does this ever end? You know?
It doesn't.
So
It doesn't. Well, it does
Truth
when you
being
die.
told. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You
As
know?
far as you're concerned,
Yeah, as far as we're, as far
Yeah,
as we know,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So, but again, I feel that, like you said, it's daily. It's
yeah,
daily, sometimes moment by
yeah,
moment, some days.
definitely.
And
Yeah.
so, my group sometimes is, I went through a hard period recently, and I kept it real with my group. It's not because I'm
Mm.
the head of the group that I'm all good all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm, without spilling all my stuff on them,
Yeah,
I do tell them, look, I'm going through a hard period, guys.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
and yeah, and so, also there, it makes me more accessible, and to understand that everybody, we're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
The Dalai Lama was asked, I watch stuff with him sometimes, and
Mm-hmm.
you know did you find peace, like, are you perfect?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, no.
Still
I
on
get
my journey.
impatient, I get annoyed, I get,
Yeah, yeah. It's
yeah,
part
for
of being
sure,
human. Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. So
definitely.
if you embrace that and not be, I think I want to say to people, like, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, yeah. That's so important.
Didn't you just feel that, right? Like,
Yeah. Just breathe through it and be like,
lay
it's
off yourself.
okay. Yeah. Make
Yeah,
it easy for yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's how do you do that? You simplify your life,
Yeah. Yeah.
like physically, like, uh like, be it decluttering your home, be it
Yeah.
getting rid of people in your life that are toxic, be it whatever
Yeah.
that looks like for you, change your job, you know
Your
uh
diet, your career,
yes,
your partner.
your partner,
Yeah.
exactly, just
Yeah.
like, get rid of it.
And your kids, even,
um,
who needs them anyways? Just kidding.
a few people would wish
Switch them
sometimes, but
up,
no.
swap them.
Or loan them out,
Something. Just do something.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So before we conclude the podcast, I want to ask you if there's anything, if you're connecting with maybe something from spirits, any message that comes through your heart that you feel that you would want to share, as we conclude the episode today.
Um, so spirit has been with me the whole time, and
Mm,
there is a preparation inside that I do before I do this type of thing, because I want them to help, inspire me, and
yeah.
so there's nothing I don't do that spirit's not a part of anymore, right? On some
Beautiful.
level.
Yeah.
Um, so my message is, be you,
Mm,
like, don't try and please someone, don't try and be something, either for your partner or your boss, or, I know it's not, we're not in an easy world, and people will always
mm-hmm.
criticize you, but that's it. You'll never please everyone. You never
Mm,
will.
yeah.
You understand? But the more you accept yourself and be authentically yourself,
Mm,
you will attract these people. You will attract
mm-hmm.
people that will love you as you are, as is,
Mm-hmm.
faults, warts, and all,
Yeah.
And that's one thing I've learned. I went from the corporate world as well,
Mm,
and um, there's certain, the way you act, the way you dress, there's always like a conformity, right? And I'm not
yeah.
saying corporate was wrong. I'm saying it wasn't good for me anymore,
Structure. Yeah. Yeah.
structure. It
Yeah.
just, and it worked really fine for me for years, right?
Mm,
But I couldn't. So anyone who relates to that, at some point I couldn't relate to it anymore. I couldn't, fit in the box anymore, right?
mm-hmm.
And I think, just be, and if being yourself is in the box, stay in the box. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be
Yeah.
authentic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that sounds simple, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
Yeah.
And because a lot of people out there are people pleasers, and another thing I would say is boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Boundaries. For a
So
lot of good.
important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't, or you want to say no, say no. And I always tell my
Mm-hmm.
clients, because they give me this look like, I can't just say no, you know? And I'm like, nobody knows what you're doing or why you said no. You don't have to explain. So that was another thing I would say. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to, you know, come up with, you know, like, if you don't want to lie, don't say anything.
Yeah.
You know, just say that is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say, you know, the more authentic you are with yourself, the more you will attract. So if you're not with the right partner or the right job, be ready for that to not be anymore. Like, be ready for changes.
Yep. And sometimes it doesn't happen the way that you think. If you're thinking of having a wonderful partner and you're like, okay, all I have to do is go online and whatever. Next thing you know, your career just like stops and you're like, you know, you're thrown into this whole emotional roller coaster. But yeah, because there is an energy there that was holding you back from meeting your partner, your true partner. So being open to how that will manifest, and anything, especially when things do not look like, you know, how they're supposed to be, how you have designed or how you have intended them to be. For me, I always tell myself, oh, okay, this needs to break now, because otherwise, why would it break? Why would someone break if it doesn't? Why would something break if it doesn't have to break?
Exactly.
You know? So to me, I always go like, okay, I'm not seeing the link right now, but I trust that if this needs to break right now, then my manifestation is definitely working, you know, because I don't want things to stay the same. Like, I know that I'm getting into a different vibration, a different frequency. So some things will crumble. They may not be the ones that I want to crumble, you know, but, you know, things will crumble as they reconstruct themselves. So I just keep doing the same intentions, the same visualizations, and, you know, the same meditation. I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere. I'm not seeing it yet, but I know it's getting somewhere.
And I want to really also conclude and say, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in your dreams.
That's a hard one for some people.
This is what I do. This is why I do this. You know, that's my intention, to help people, because, you know, my guides ask me, what do you want to do? What's your mission? What do you, and they asked me. They didn't tell me. They asked me. And I said, I want to help light workers follow their dreams. That's what I want to do. Yeah. They're like, okay, done. That's what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So I get light workers that are often in crossroads and they're afraid to take a leap and not, you know, so believe in yourself. Yeah. Follow your dreams. That's what I would say.
Because it's just a moment. It's just a matter of time. I always say it's just a matter of time. You know, just keep doing it and tell yourself it's just a matter of time.
Don't give up.
Yeah. Don't give up. Don't give up.
And if you're not getting it, it's because you need still to work through something. Yeah. Like, the universe is not punishing you. No. I'm not saying, no, you don't. Has
no interest in that.
Absolutely not. So keep it up, whether that's woodworking or, you know, being a yoga teacher, whatever it looks like for you. Don't give up.
Yeah. Amen to that. Yeah. Man, so this was Arianne Brûlé, guys. This has been such a great conversation. I was like loving the whole flow of it. This was really easy for me. I hope it was easy for you too.
Yeah, you make it easy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
The truth. It's the truth.
So everybody who is watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in, and for, you know, we hope that this will be of support in any way. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and still helping us, you know, spread the positive content and the vibes and sharing it with, you know, other people and yourselves. And for those of us too, listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and any platform that you listen to, any platform that you watch us and follow us. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Thank you for being on this journey and on this path with all of us. And yeah, we're gonna keep doing our thing and trying to uplift you and uplift ourselves and the higher, you know, consciousness as much as we can. And so I will be leaving all the contact information on where you can reach Arianne if you're interested in any of her services, any of her energy. I hope that it has come through this video and this audio because, you know, even if it didn't, I know that it touched your heart somewhere. So, yeah, anything else do you want to add?
Thank you, Kenny. Thank you for your light. You're a beautiful light.
Thank
For
you.
real,
Thank
really.
you.
So
Thank you.
thank you for doing this and giving access to people who don't know much about these. That's your one of your many missions on this.
Yeah,
And
one of them.
right. So thank you for this platform, really.
Thank you. Thank you. Likewise. And, you know, just to tease Arianne a little bit, we'll be looking forward for her own podcast soon, coming in theater.
I
No pressure. No pressure. It's on now. Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah. It's just a matter of time, guys. That's what we were saying. Just a matter of time. Well, thank you, everybody.
First guest, Kenny. First guest.
Oh, thank you. I'll be there. Just call me anytime. I got you.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. And take care until the next episode.